Hagar and Ishmael. Many years after Cain killed Abel, there lived a very good man and his wife. Their names were Abraham and Sarah. Now, Abraham and Sarah had no children, and they wanted children. Oh, how they prayed for a son. They became quite old, and still they had no children. Finally, Sarah said to Abraham, "We do want children, so what do you think of this plan? Why don't you take my Egyptian maid Hagar and make her your wife?" Abraham replied, "But what about any children we may have, Hagar and I? Will the child be yours or hers to bring up?" Sarah said, "There will be no trouble about that. She will have the child on my knees, and the child will be mine to raise." So it was decided. And Hagar had a son. Abraham called him Ishmael. Years later, Sarah and Abraham had a son of their own. They called him Isaac. When Isaac was about 3 years old, Ishmael and his mother began to poke fun at him and his mother, Sarah. They said to each other, "Look at Isaac and his poor old mother. Why, she's 70 years old and wobbly in the knees. And Isaac, he is such a weak child, and he's wobbly in the knees, too. Ha, 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 look at them. Ha, ha, ha." At this, Sarah became angry, very angry. And she said to Abraham, "I cannot stand those two any longer. You will have to send them away, away from Isaac and me." Abraham answered, "But where can I send them? There is nothing outside but the wilderness, and the wilderness is hot and rough underfoot." "Well, then, let them find shade and smooth footing. I will not have them here. If they stay, then they will contrive to share the inheritance with my son Isaac. No, cast them out." And Abraham was very sad, for he loved his son Ishmael. God said to Abraham, "Do not feel badly about Ishmael and his mother Hagar. Listen to Sarah and do as she says. Do not sorrow for Ishmael and Hagar, as I said. When he marries and has sons of his own, I will make them great. I will do this because Ishmael is your son." And so when it became dawn, Abraham took a loaf of bread and a bottle of water and gave them to Hagar. He set the bottle of water on her shoulder, and the mother and son went out from the house of Abraham and Sarah, out into the wilderness of Beersheba, where it was hot by day and cold at night. Hagar and Ishmael wandered about, not knowing where to go. The sun rose. It was hot. There was little shade. The day grew hotter and hotter and hotter. They were thirsty. They drank a little of the water. It was so hot that they had to drink more of the water. Then they drank more water, and more, until the water was all gone. At last, Ishmael became so weak from thirst that he could walk no farther. He was about to die. His mother wept and laid him under a shrub. She did not want to see him die. He was just a young boy, and all he wanted was a drink of water. Then she went a little way off and sat down to weep for her little son. But Ishmael prayed, and God heard the prayer of Ishmael. An angel of God called out to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What troubles you, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the voice of your son where he is lying. Get up, lift up your son, and hold him by the hand. He will live and will make great men of his sons." And God opened Hagar's eyes, and she saw a well of water which she had not seen before. She filled her bottle with water and gave Ishmael a drink, and so he lived. Isaac and the test of Abraham's faith. One day, God decided that he would tempt Abraham to see how much faith Abraham had in God. One evening, Abraham was walking in his garden. He was alone. God called to him, saying, "Abraham." And Abraham answered, "Look, here I am." Then God said, "Take your son Isaac, whom you dearly love, and go to the land of Moriah. I will lead you to a mountain there. And on this mountain you are to offer your son as a sacrifice." So Abraham got up very early the next morning. He called Isaac, he saddled his donkey, he split the wood for the fire. He took 2 of his young men servants with him and went toward the place of which God had told him. After 3 days of traveling, he saw the mountain of Moriah far in the distance. Abraham said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkey. Isaac and I will go up there on the mountain and worship. We will come back to you." Then Abraham picked up the wood and laid it across the arms of Isaac. He took the brazier of hot coals and his knife, and with Isaac by his side they departed for the mountain called Moriah. Then Isaac said to Abraham, "My father." And Abraham answered, "Here I am, my son." Isaac said, "Look, here is the wood and the fire, but where is the lamb to be sacrificed?" And Abraham said, "My son, God will provide a lamb for the sacrifice." So they went, both of them together, and they came to the place called the mountain of Moriah. Abraham built an altar there. He laid the wood in order on the altar. He bound Isaac, his beloved son, and laid him on the wood. He reached out his hand and took the knife to kill his son. And then an angel of God called out to him from heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham!" And he said, "Here I am." The angel said, "Do not kill your son, your beloved son. Neither must you do anything to hurt him, for now I know that you fear God. You would have killed him for love of God." And Abraham lifted up his eyes, and look, there was a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered him instead as a sacrifice to God. He unbound his son and set him free. The angel of God blessed Abraham. He took Isaac by the hand, and together they returned to the place where he had bidden the servants to wait for them. Then they all left to dwell in the grazing land of Beersheba. Jacob and Esau. When Isaac was 40 years old, his father thought it was time that he was married. So he arranged to have his servant bring a beautiful woman, Rebekah by name, down to Canaan. She had lived up north in the city of Haran. After Isaac and Rebekah had been married a few years, they had twin sons, Esau, who was born first, Jacob, who was born a few minutes later. Now Esau was the favorite of his father, Isaac, and Jacob was the favorite of his mother. Esau liked to hunt and to work in the fields, while Jacob always stayed around the tents. He liked to cook. One day, Jacob cooked up a delicious soup of lentils, and Esau could smell it as he came in from the field. Esau was hungry, so hungry that he felt faint. Esau said to Jacob, "Please give me a bowl of that soup. It smells delicious, and I am so hungry. I feel as if I will die of hunger." Now Jacob saw that his brother was faint with hunger, and he said to himself, "He will give anything for food." Then he said to Esau, "If you will give me your share of our father's possessions, and let me be the head of our household when our father dies, and let me receive our father's blessing, then and only then will I give you the soup to keep you alive." Esau thought to himself, "Well, I'm about to die anyway, so why not sell my birthright?" To Jacob he said, Yes, I will sell you my birthright." Jacob wanted to make sure. He said, "Promise." And Esau answered, "I promise." So it was that Esau sold his birthright to his brother for a mess of red lentil soup. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and some of his delicious soup. Esau ate and drank and then went his way. So it was that Esau cared nothing for the birthright, which should have been his. Many years went by. Isaac became nearly blind. One day he called his beloved son Esau to him. Isaac said, "My son," and Esau answered, "Here I am." Then Isaac said, "Look, I am old. I do not know when I may die. So take your bow and arrows, go out to the field and get me some game. Then make me stew, the kind that I love. Bring it to me as soon as it is cooked. I wish to eat some of it. Then I will give you my blessing before I die." And Esau left for the field. Now Rebekah, Esau's mother, was listening. She called her beloved son Jacob and said, "Look, I heard your father tell Esau to bring in some game to make a stew. Then your father said to Esau, I will bless you before the Lord. Then I will be ready to die. And Rebekah went on to say, Now, Jacob, listen carefully to what I tell you. Go out to the flock of goats and bring in 2 young ones. I will make some stew of them such as your father loves. Then you will take the stew in to your father. He will eat it and bless you instead of Esau. He is so blind he will not know the difference. But Jacob said to his mother, Esau is a hairy man, and I am smooth. Very likely my father will feel my skin, and he will think I am deceiving him. He will curse me and not bless me. But Rebekah said, Never mind. I will be to blame. Just listen to me and do as I say. Go and bring the young goats. So Jacob went out to the flock and brought back the 2 young goats. His mother made the stew. She found some clothes which belonged to Esau, and she told Jacob to put these on. Then she put the hairy skins of the goats on Jacob's arms and on the smooth part of his neck. She gave Jacob some bread and a dish of the stew and told him to take them in to his father. He stopped at the door and said, My father? His father answered, Here I am. Who are you? Then Jacob answered, I am Esau, your firstborn son. I have done as you wished. Get up from your bed and sit here and eat the stew I have made, and then you can bless me. And Isaac said to Jacob, How is it that you have returned so soon, my son? Jacob replied, Because the Lord brought it to me. Isaac was not sure. He said once again, Are you Esau? Come near, I pray, so that I may feel your skin, my son. I am not sure that you are my son Esau, or not. Jacob went near to Isaac. His father said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And poor blind Isaac did not know the difference. Then once again Isaac said, Are you my very own son Esau? Jacob replied, I am. And Isaac said to his son, Bring the stew to me, and I will eat. Then I will bless you. So Jacob brought the stew near to his father, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and Isaac drank. And Isaac said, Come near and kiss me, my son. When Isaac smelled the smell of Esau's clothes, he said, The smell of my son is the smell of a field which God has blessed. So I am giving you my blessing. And he did. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had left the room, Esau came in from hunting. He made the stew as his father had asked. He took it in to his father, and he said, Let my father arise and eat his favorite son's stew. Then you may bless me. His father said, Who are you? And Esau answered, I am your son, your firstborn, Esau. Isaac began to tremble. He cried out, Who? Then where is he that brought stew to me before? I ate it. I ate it all before you came, and I blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out in bitterness, Bless me also, O my father. But his father said, Your brother tricked me, and now he has taken away your blessing. Esau cried out, This is the second time he has tricked me. First he got my birthright away from me, and now he has taken away the blessing which should have been mine. Haven't you saved one blessing for me? Isaac answered, Look, I have made him lord and master of the family and all the household. I have given him the grain and the wine. What is there left for you, my son? Then Esau said, Just one blessing for me, O my father. And Esau wept. His father answered, Look, you will have the fat of the land and the dew of the heaven. You shall be a warrior and serve your brother. Some day you will be able to free yourself of the authority of your brother and serve him no longer. And Esau hated Jacob. He said to himself, The day of our father's death is at hand. When father dies, I will kill Jacob. Now Rebekah heard that Esau intended to kill Jacob. She called Jacob to her. She told him what she had heard. She said, Now listen to me, Jacob. Go as fast as you can to my brother Laban, who lives in Haran. Stay with him a few days. Then when your brother cools down, I will send for you to come home. So Rebekah said to Isaac, Send Jacob away. I'm afraid he will marry one of these women here in Canaan, and I could not stand that. So Isaac sent Jacob away. and Jacob ran in terror from the anger of his brother Esau. Jacob came to a place where he decided to spend the night, for the sun had set. He placed stones to make him a pillow, and he lay down to sleep. And he dreamed. In this dream he saw a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And look, the angels of God are climbing up and down on this ladder. And yes, the Lord stands above it. Then the Lord said to Jacob, I am the Lord God of Abraham. The land where you lie I will give to you and to your children and children's children. I am with you now, and I will be with you always. Jacob awoke. He said, Surely the Lord was here, and I did not know it. And he was afraid. He whispered, This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. And he called the name of the place Bethel. Joseph and the coat of many colors. 20 years passed before Jacob returned to the home of his father in Hebron in the land of Canaan. And when he did return, he brought with him 13 children, 12 sons and a daughter, and 2 wives who were sisters. 2 of the sons were children of Rachel, Jacob's favorite wife. Their names were Joseph and Benjamin. They were the youngest of all the children. Now Jacob loved Joseph more than all the rest. He made him a fine coat, a coat of many colors. When his brothers saw that their father loved Joseph the most, they hated him, and they could not say anything good to him. One night, Joseph dreamed a dream. He told it to his brothers. He said, Listen to this dream I had last night. I dreamed that we were binding sheaves of grain in the field, and the sheaf I was binding rose up and stood up straight, and your sheaves stood around and bowed to my sheaf. His brothers answered, Do you think we will bow down to you and you rule over us? And they hated him all the more for his telling of his dream. Then again, another night, he dreamed another dream. He told his brothers about this one also. He said, Look, I have dreamed again. I dreamed the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed to me. He told his father about his dream, and his father said, Shame on you. Shall I and your mother and your brothers bow down to you, bow down to the ground? His brothers envied him, but his father could not help but wonder at these dreams of Joseph. Soon after this, Joseph's brothers went to the field of Shechem to feed their father's flocks of sheep. Jacob said to his son Joseph, Haven't your brothers gone to Shechem to feed the flocks? Come, I will send you to see how they are getting along. See if your brothers are all right, and if all is well with the flocks. Bring back word to me. So Jacob sent Joseph out of Hebron to go to Shechem. Now, when Joseph got to the field in Shechem, he could not see his brothers nor the flocks. A certain man found Joseph as he wandered about, and the man asked, What are you looking for? Joseph answered, I'm looking for my brothers. Tell me, have you seen them, and where are they feeding their flocks? The man said, Oh, they have gone. I heard them say to one another, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph set out for Dothan, and he saw his brothers far off. When his brothers saw him coming, they said to each other, Look, here comes the dreamer. Let us kill him and then throw him into this dry well. We will say that some wild beast has eaten him. Then we shall see what will become of those dreams of his. But Reuben, the oldest of the brothers, said, Let us not kill him. Let us throw him into this dry well, and then, he thought to himself, Later I will come and get him out and take him home to our father safe and sound. By this time, Joseph had reached the place where his brothers were waiting for him. They waited until Joseph was in their midst, and then they grabbed him and jerked off his beautiful coat, the coat his father had made him, the coat of many colors. They threw Joseph into the well. Then they sat on the edge of the well to eat their bread. They lifted their eyes and said, Look, here comes a band of men. They are the sons of our uncle Ishmael, and they have camels bearing sacks of spices. They're headed for Egypt. Then the brother Judah said, What good would it do to kill Joseph? Why not sell him to this band of Ishmaelites? We should not kill him, for after all he is our brother. And so it was agreed. When the band of Ishmaelites reached the brothers, they said, "Do you want a good, strong boy to take to Egypt with you? We have one here to sell." So the brothers pulled Joseph up from the well. The band of Ishmaelites paid them 20 pieces of silver and went on their way, taking Joseph with them. The brothers killed one of the young goats and dipped Joseph's coat in the blood. Then they took it to their father and said, "Here, this is what we have found. Is this the coat of your beloved son Joseph?" Jacob cried out, "It is my son's coat. No doubt he has been torn to pieces." And Jacob mourned for his son for many days. And all the time the Ishmaelites were taking Joseph to Egypt. Here he was sold to Potiphar, captain of the guard of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. One night, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, had 2 dreams. He was troubled by these dreams. He called his wise men and magicians to him and told them of the dreams. They did not know their meaning. Then a servant remembered that Joseph had been able to tell the meaning of dreams. So Pharaoh sent for him. Joseph told the king what his dreams meant. Joseph said, "There will be 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine." Pharaoh, king of Egypt, was much pleased with the Hebrew Joseph. He made Joseph governor over all of Egypt, and Joseph was then only 30 years old. For 7 years there was food aplenty in the land. Joseph, who was very wise, stored all the food which was not used by the people and animals during these years of plenty. Then came the day when there was little or no food. There was a famine. The people came to Joseph, and he sold them some of the food which had been stored away in huge barns. And the people of other lands came down into Egypt to buy food, for the famine was in all of the land, even in the land of Canaan, where Joseph's family lived. One day Jacob, the father of Joseph, said to his sons, "Go down into Egypt and buy some grain, or we shall all starve." So they went down to Egypt. They went to Joseph and asked to buy grain. Now Joseph knew his brothers, but they did not know him. He was dressed in such fine clothes. He ordered a servant to get grain and fill the sacks that the brothers had brought with them. Then he told his servant, "After the sacks are filled with grain, put the money in each sack and tie it up. But in the sack of my youngest brother, Benjamin, put not only the money, but also my silver cup." And the servant did as Joseph commanded him. As soon as there was light in the sky, the brothers started for their home in Canaan. They had tied their sacks of grain onto the backs of their donkeys. After they had gotten out of the city and not yet too far off, Joseph said to his servant, "Get up and follow after my brothers. When you have reached them, say to them, 'Look here, what do you mean by doing evil for the good which was done you by my master Joseph? Is this not the silver cup from which my master drinks? This is an evil thing which you have done. Now go to catch up with my brothers and tell them as I have said.' So the servant ran fast and caught up with the brothers. He told them what Joseph had said. The brothers were afraid. They said, 'Why did your master say such a thing? We would not steal your master's cup. Why should we? We do not need your silver or gold. If your master's cup is found in one of our sacks, then let that man die, and the rest of us will return with you. We will be your master's servants.' But the servant of Joseph replied, 'All right. He with whom the cup is found shall be my servant, and the rest of you shall be blameless.' The brothers hurried to let down their sacks. Each sack was opened. The servant of Joseph walked up to the sack of the oldest brother. He searched it. No cup was found. He went to the sack of the next. No cup. Then he went to the next brother's sack, and to the next, and next, until he came to the youngest brother, Benjamin. The servant opened the sack, and "Look!" cried out the servant angrily. "Here is the cup, my master's silver cup with which he tells the meaning of dreams. How could you?" The brothers tore their clothes in sorrow. They put the sacks of grain on their donkeys and started back. When they reached the house of Joseph, he said, "What have you done? Didn't you know that such a man as I could tell that you had stolen the cup?" Then Judah, one of the brothers, said, "What can we say to you, my lord? How can we clear ourselves? God has found out the thievery of us, your servants, along with Benjamin, with whom the cup was found." But Joseph said, "I want only the one who stole the cup to be my servant. The rest of you go on home to your father." Judah answered, "You asked if we have a father or a brother when we came here to get grain the first time, and we said that we have a father and a brother, the youngest of 12 sons. He is a little one, and his father loves him dearly. Then you said to us, 'Bring him to me that I may see him.' Well, we told you that our father would not let him come to Egypt. If he left, our father would die. At that you said, 'If your brother does not come down, you cannot come either.' When we told our father this, he said, 'You cannot take Benjamin to Egypt.' But then the famine became so bad up in Canaan that at last our father said, 'Go and take Benjamin, but be careful to bring him back again.' You see, there was another son of our father. His name was Joseph. Our father said, 'My wife Rachel bore 2 sons, and one went out to find his brothers as they fed the flocks, and I never saw him again.' So seeing that our father lives only for this youngest son, Benjamin, we cannot leave him here. Our father would surely die of grief." And Judah went on to say, "Let me stay in place of Benjamin, for how can I face our father without Benjamin?" By this time there were servants of Joseph standing about listening, and before them all Joseph wept. And then he said, "Everyone leave but these brothers." And all the people left him alone with the 11 from Canaan. Joseph said, "I am Joseph. Is my father alive?" But his brothers were so surprised they could not answer. And they bowed to the ground before Joseph. And the 2 dreams Joseph had had as a young boy came true. Joseph said, "Go and fetch your father and all your household and come back to me, for I am governor of all of Egypt." And so it was that Jacob and his 12 sons were together once more. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher, Joseph, and Benjamin. These were the sons of Jacob. Jacob, who was also known as Israel. Moses in the Bulrushes. The children of Israel and their children were many, and the land of Egypt was filled with them. And they became so powerful that the Egyptians began to fear them. Now there came a new king who did not know of Joseph. He said to his people, "Look, these children of Israel have multiplied and become more powerful than we. Let us deal with them wisely. If there are too many of them and we have a war, well, they might join the enemy and fight against us. Let us take their power from them." So the Egyptians made slaves of the children of Israel, the Hebrews, and they were made to build cities for Pharaoh. But the more the Egyptians tortured them, the more the children of Israel multiplied. This angered the Egyptians, so they beat these slaves and made them work even harder. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, commanded that all the male Hebrew children be killed as soon as they were born. He said that all the male children of the Hebrews must be thrown into the river. Now, one of the Hebrew women had a son. He was a fine little baby, and she did not want him to die. So she hid him for 3 months. By now, he was old enough so that his mother could no longer keep him in hiding. She made a basket out of the bulrushes which grew along the river's edge. She fixed it so it would not leak water, and she laid her baby in it. Then she put the basket with the baby in the water at the edge of the river. Now the baby's sister was watching to see what would happen. At this time, the daughter of Pharaoh came down with her maids to the river. She was about to wash herself when she saw the basket. She sent her maid to bring it to her, and when she had uncovered it, she saw the child. And look, the baby is crying. She pitied the child and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." At this, the baby's sister came up and said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women that she may nurse the child for you?" The daughter of Pharaoh said, "Yes, go." And the baby's sister called to her mother. When the mother came, Pharaoh's daughter said, "Take this child away and nurse it for me. I will pay you for the child's care." And the woman took the child home and nursed it. When the child was old enough to leave his mother, she took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she named him Moses. David, the shepherd boy. One day the Philistines lined up for battle with the armies of Israel. The Philistines came from the seacoast at the south end of Canaan. They stood on a mountain on one side, and the armies of Israel stood on a mountain on the other side with a valley in between. And there went out a champion from the camp of the Philistines. His name was Goliath. He was a giant, over 9 feet tall. He had a helmet of brass on his head, and he wore armor weighing 5,000 shekels of brass. He had a heavy iron spear, and on one arm he carried a shield. So he was heavily guarded against harm, he thought. And he called out to the Israelite army, saying, "Why do you bring out your armies? I am a Philistine, and I come alone. Choose one man from among you Israelites to fight me. If he wins, then we Philistines will become your slaves. If I win, then you Israelites shall become our servants." But not a man of the armies of Israel dared to fight the giant Goliath. And the giant went out toward the army of Israel each morning and each evening for 40 days. But not a man of the armies of Israel dared to fight the giant Goliath. Now at this time there was a shepherd boy named David. He was the youngest son of Jesse. David's 3 oldest brothers were among the men of the army of Israel. David's father said to him, "Take a bag of parched corn to your brothers, and take these 10 loaves of bread to them also, and carry these 10 cheeses to the captain. Keep your ears open for any news and bring it back to me." The next morning at daybreak, David rose from his bed. He left his sheep with another shepherd. He took the food his father had given him for his brothers and set out for the camp of the Israelite army. And he listened as the warriors gossiped. He listened as they told about the giant, the big giant, Goliath, the giant that was so fierce that no warrior dared to go out to meet him. And David said, "Who is this giant who defies the armies of God? Is everyone afraid of him? Will no one go out to meet him? Well, I will." Now the king was with the army of Israel. His name was Saul. He was in his royal tent. Word came to Saul that a shepherd boy was boasting that he could kill the giant. Saul sent for David. David said to Saul, "I will fight this giant." Saul replied, "You cannot. You are just a boy." Then David said, "I am very strong. One day when I was keeping my father's sheep, there came a lion and a bear, and they took a lamb from the flock. Well, I grabbed the lion by the beard and took the lamb out of his jaws. And when the lion rose up against me, I killed him, and I killed the bear too. Who is this Philistine that I should fear him? God saved me from the lion and from the bear, and God will save me from this Philistine." So Saul put armor on David and a helmet on his head. David buckled on a sword. But when he was all ready to fight, he said, "I cannot fight with all this heavy armor on me. It weighs too much." And David threw off the heavy armor and tossed the sword aside. He picked up his shepherd's crook and his slingshot. He chose 5 smooth stones from those on the ground. He put these into his shepherd's sack, and he went down to where he could see the giant. Goliath was coming toward him. When the giant saw a young boy coming, he shouted in anger, "Am I a dog? Why do you come with only a shepherd's crook? Curse you! Come on, I will feed you to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field." Then David called out to the giant, "You come to me with a spear and a shield, yes, and dressed in armor. But I come to you in the name of the Lord, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. Today the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I will strike you and cut off your head. And I will give your carcass to the birds of the air and to the beasts of the field. Then everyone will know that there is a God in Israel, and all the people will know that the Lord is victorious, not with a sword and spear. God will deliver you into our hands." And so it happened that as Goliath rose up from the ground and went to meet David, David ran to meet Goliath. As he ran, he reached into his shepherd's sack and took out a stone. He put it into his slingshot. Then he cast the stone and struck the giant right in the middle of his forehead. Goliath fell down, dead. Now the armies of the Philistines saw that their champion had been struck down by a boy with only a stone and a slingshot, and the help of God. Yes, a boy had killed their champion. They ran for their lives with the armies of Israel running after them. So Israel was saved from their enemies, the Philistines. And the Philistines had had a warrior giant to fight for them. The Israelites had had a young shepherd boy.